After eliminating Cambridge United and Luton Town in rounds 1 and 2, QPR host Crystal Palace on Tuesday evening in round 3 of the Carabao Cup. So in this match preview, I had the pleasure of catching up with Ollie Thomas, aka Talk Crystal Palace, about the Eagles' season so far, their 4-0 win over Norwich in round 2, their summer transfer activity, and of course the return of a Beret Eze to W12. As you'll gather as we get into the interview, this video was pre-recorded during the international break because I'm currently away on holiday, so there won't be the usual QPR chat after because I don't actually know the result of even the Sheffield Wednesday game at this point. But I'd imagine Cifuentes will be putting out a pretty strong QPR side given how seriously he tends to take these cup games. Anyway, do make sure you give Ollie a follow on socials via the links in the description below, and let's get straight into it. Hi Ollie, how's it going?
Hello, mate. I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for jumping on today. Obviously, we're here to talk about QPR versus Crystal Palace in the third round of the Carabao Cup. Now, Palace obviously are yet to find a win in the Premier League yet this season, at the time of recording, just before you face Leicester. But it was a confident 4-0 win against Norwich in round 2 that has set you up with QPR in round 3. So what have you made of your season so far?
I think we've been a bit unlucky at points. I think, yeah, we've only got a point in the league, but I think we were unlucky to lose to Brentford. Kind of like individual mistakes, a bit of a dodgy ref decision, which didn't help with that as a free kick. Against West Ham, like we played well again, just kind of switched off a few times, and then Chelsea was probably we were lucky to get a point. But I think we've been a bit a bit half cooked. We look like a team that actually hasn't had a pre-season, which we haven't really because unbelievably, as a Crystal Palace fan, we had a lot of players at international tournaments this summer, which has never happened. It's a very new problem for us, which was great. It was great seeing players on the international stage, but it meant that the likes of like Mateta, Eze, Wharton, Munoz, like all key players for us, didn't really have much of a pre-season. So I think we kind of were easing into things a bit, and that's why against Norwich in the last round we basically played like a full strength team. So we won, which was good. We should have won. But I think we're getting better with every game, and hopefully that'll continue. International break probably came at a good time for us. So yeah, overall it's not been as bad as you might think looking at the Premier League table.
Yeah, makes sense. And of course, Summer, I think it's 8 players in, 6 headed out the other way, most notably Elise and Anderson. But you did keep hold of Gahey despite Newcastle's interest. And somehow no one came in for Eze, who, as a QPR fan, we're quite gutted about that, given the sell-on that we do have for him. So are you pleased with the window overall?
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be about outgoings, I think, unfortunately, just because we have a lot of good players and had a lot of good players. Elise was always going to go. So that was sad. But I think we bought pretty well. I'm really happy we kept Gahey and Eze. Like Eze, I'm sorry to say, I hope Eze is someone that we can keep for like long term because I think he's so well liked and I can see him kind of being like the face of the club as a South London lad as well for a while. I like Nketiah. That was a good signing too. Someone who we've wanted for a while. Same with Ismaila Sarr. They're two players who we've tried to sign so many times. So to get them both in is really good. I guess time will tell as to kind of how they gel together. But I think a lot of Palace fans were quite nervous going into the last week with a lot of uncertainty around key players. But I think we kept hold of Gahey and we got in like 3 or 4 players in the final week of the window. So that was like really positive, I think. So I'm pretty happy with it. But a lot of change. Definitely. Elise was a big loss.
Yeah, of course. So, what are your expectations for this season overall? I saw that Palace haven't made it to the fourth round of the League Cup since the 2018-19 season, so you must fancy a good cup run, especially with this draw.
Well, I hope so. I do hope so. I mean, there's quite a lot of enthusiasm actually about the League Cup this year. I think because our manager Glasner has kind of said like we're going to take the cup seriously, and a lot of the previous managers we've had, especially Hodgson, were pretty open about the fact they didn't really care about the League Cup. Which as a fan of a mid-table Premier League team, you want to see that's one of your best chances at a cup run is the League Cup because it's probably the least important of the 3 domestic tournaments that you're in, like the league, the FA Cup, etc. So hopefully we can get beyond the fourth round for the first time, as you said, in like 5 years. QPR is a fun draw, not just in terms of the fact obviously we'll be favourites, and I think we'll play a strong team again, but like it's a good away day. Like we've had a lot of really boring draws in the cup. So when we got QPR away, I was very happy. It sold out very fast for a League Cup game. We don't go to League Cup games very well. We don't travel well, whereas this like did barely got through 2 rounds of tickets. Like it was popular, so it should be fun.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And you mentioned that Glasner obviously put out a pretty strong team against Norwich. Do you said he's going to take it seriously as well. So do you think it's going to be another strong team after a match against Leicester on Saturday and then obviously United next weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we actually have decent depth now, especially like across the back line. We have quite a few good centre back options, and midfield too. But I think we'll definitely see some new signings against you. I would imagine I can see Nketiah getting a start. I can see Sarr getting a start. I can see maybe one of the new centre backs getting a start. I think, like we, as I said, because of the limited preseason, they're trying to get as many minutes as they can into these players, obviously while managing the load as well. So I don't know. We might see a few players get rested, but I think for the most part it'll be a strong team because we will want to win, and there's kind of no point in us taking a chance on that. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Now, we've mentioned Abere Eze a couple of times already. This is somehow Eze's fifth Premier League season already, which I think has just gone so quickly. Now, we know how special he is after his time at QPR, but it'd be good to hear you talk about how he's sort of grown during his time at Palace, obviously, was away of England in the summer, and how important he is to this side.
Yeah, he's so important. Like obviously a lot was made last year of Elise and Eze kind of as a partnership. Um, and I think while losing one of them was kind of manageable. You could swallow that, especially with it being Elise. I think we'd all prep for that. I think the prospect of Eze potentially leaving was really like worrying and was something I really didn't want to happen. And I think you can see how he's grown at Palace into someone who he's always had ability, always been a hard worker and someone who can win you games. But I think he's really shouldered the responsibility a lot over the past few years. He's become a player who we rely on and can rely on regularly. And I think this season that will only kind of go further. He's also just like such a likable character and player, and he's such a joy to watch. And I think there are very few players who are so like universally liked within the Premier League now. And I don't think you could find many neutrals who don't like Eze. And him getting like a Euros call up was like amazing for Palace fans. I think obviously he is one of like QPR's own, if you like, but like he's someone who we kind of view that as like he's like our boy basically, and seeing him come on in knockout games and the Euros and making an impact was so cool. And there are a few players at Palace who, I appreciate have good resale value. Someone like Gahey, like I can see us selling him. Adam Water, I appreciate it's probably for the best of those players leave in a couple of years and we cash in. But Eze is someone who I don't want us to cash in on ever. Like I want him to be with us for the rest of his career. And I doubt that'll happen, but I can dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, aside from Eze himself, who I think is almost an absolute shoe-in to score on his return to Loftus Road, who are Palace's danger men right now? Who should QPR be worried about on Tuesday?
It's a good question because we haven't had that many danger men this year. I think Kamada has started to grow into his role. So a free signing we got from Lazio has worked with Glasner before. He scored in the last round and got an assist, and also played against Chelsea and was looking better. He started a bit slowly, but I think he's someone who will definitely cause a threat. I think Ismail Assar has looked really good since coming into the team as well. Like he's had a few really good impact sub moments, and I think his minutes are going to get ramped up. So him as well. And then Nketiah, I think Nketiah will play against QPR mainly because Mateta has played a lot of football over the past like year, and I think we'll try and manage his minutes. And I think Nketiah will want to hit the ground running and want to score goals early. And if we've got Leicester tomorrow on Saturday, so hopefully by the time you see this video, if it's after that game, we've won 4-0 and Nketiah's got all four of them. But if he hasn't, then I think he'll view QPR as a chance to like get off the mark and get the ball rolling because that's a proper number 9 attitude.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, the first and only time Palace and QPR have played each other in the League Cup was in September 1961, which was a 6-2 home win for QPR. So hopefully we'll have something similar to that on Tuesday night. Now, the last time Palace and QPR faced each other in a competitive fixture was our 3-1 loss at Selhurst Park in March 2015. Admittedly, all I can remember from that is Matty Phillips hitting that thunder bastard out of frustration in the second half. So to round us off, let's get your score prediction for Tuesday night.
That Matty Phillips goal, by the way, is one of the most underrated in Premier League history. It was ridiculous. I was there and I was right behind it. I was like, what the hell? Like mental. Um, I mean, I'd like to think that we would win. I think we'll take it seriously. So I'll go for a 2-0 Palace win. I've got to back Palace to win.
Yeah, of course, of course. All right, well, thank you very much for joining, Ollie, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.